Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here in Erlengrat. That is done, that one's done. You over here have got a little tiny bit more to go and do, and then that one will be finished. So I did a week without having any sugar in my coffee, and then he said have your normal amount of sugar in a coffee after 1 week. So do 1 week and then take your normal amount of sugar. So that's what I did. And I tell you what, it was like drinking a cupful of syrup. And whilst I do like sweet things, really didn't like that cup of coffee. So now I don't like, if someone brings out a cup of coffee that's got sugar in it, I really have to force myself to drink my way through that cup of coffee because it's so sickly sweet. And it was just 1 week. That's all it took. 1 week of drinking coffee without sugar in it. And then I've never really been able to drink coffee with sugar in it since. There's one thing I can do, though, and that is you have coffee and you put a spoonful of chocolate powder in it as well. Ooh, that is nice. That is oh so good. So if you want a little bit of variation on your coffee, sometimes get a spoonful of drinking chocolate and stir that in as well. Ooh, it is good. Oh, it is so good. I strongly recommend that one. So we've got our first 3 jobs here have finished. We've got the Tatipo field over here is almost done, plus the other weeding job. That is all 5 weeding jobs that are just about done. Fertilizer, he's still got 30% on that tank. I'm starting to think that he may finish that job as well. So I'm just going to bring you in here and let you go whizzing off across the field. So he's got 2 passes left to do on that field, and then he'll be done. This guy has got 2 passes left, or this lady, I should say, has got 2 passes left on this field right here. I'm going to quickly skim through these jobs. Oh, it's because it's our own tractor doing that. I was wondering why it was sort of looking wrong there. Which way are we going? Oh, it's there. He's got 2 passes left on here for fertilizer, I think. And then that one's going to be finished as well. So we have got... I've sent them all to the right place, so I can actually go and complete these contracts. So we've got 500 euros there. We've got 300 euros there, because the lease cost of that one was 786, which is utterly obscene. So there's 800. We've got 141 from that one. So we're pushing to about 1,000 euros at the moment. We've got, this one is 4,600 on this particular job, so we'll get a little bit there on that one. This fertilizing, not the fertilizer, 17 is now finished. And then 18, that one's going to be finished in a minute. The contract on field 17 has finished. Let me go over to it. Yeah, you need to actually finish the job. I'm not going to leave that strip. You've actually got to finish your work. Same with you. You're going to have to finish your work as well. We will finish these jobs. So up to 97,000. I think we've actually gone backwards because of the amount of wages that we've paid out. I mean, once we cash in 19 and 18, or 18 and 17 and 18, we will be slightly ahead. But we get, so there's 300 euros in there, and this one will end up being about 300 euros as well, I should think. Not very much more than that. So really, we're not making very much money back on these jobs. I think that well, we know that fertilizer jobs are the way forward, and there is a good chance that finishing all of these will give us more fertilizer jobs, plus the sowing as well. There's going to be more fertilizer jobs. How about you? Let you run to the end of the field right there. There's another one done. I didn't fold up any of the others. I just left them as they were in the field. I suppose we could fold one of these up, but we've got so many of these weeding jobs going on that we kind of like we've seen all of this in action. So you right there. Contract on field 19 has finished. Let's go back in here. We don't want to send that one off yet. We've got this one here. So there's 300 euros. There's 18. That's another 253 euros right there. So I can collect field 17. And then field 18 right there will be another 253 we can collect once he's gone up through that. Have I made any money on this? I don't know. I didn't properly check what the number was before I started taking all of these contracts. And literally, this is all I've done, is I've just taken these weeding contracts and I've set them going. I haven't spent any more money anywhere. I haven't gone through and spent additional money. You're done there. Helper E is completed. So they've both done in here. So you there's 253. I'll collect that. Now those are in 98,000. I think we've ended up with maybe plus 500 out of all that, which is really not worth it. Except that when it comes to harvest time, it is then worth it. So we get 4,600 here for doing that one. Fertilizer jobs are always worth it. They are one job that is worth that time and effort. So we're going to go for a little bit of a mosey on over this way. I'm going to take this. Actually, I'm going to drive this one here down to the dealership, and I'm going to collect up the fertilizer that's down there. So we're on 102,000. We've definitely gone up in our total value of money. I think the next thing we want to do is step back over to our yards. I'm looking at these contracts in here. So we've got several. We've got these planting jobs. That one there, I think, is a planting job that we need to start with. Now, it says make sure to fill the tool with seeds, and that is a slight problem. We start spending money out on the seeds. Yes, ultimately we will end up making money on this, but it takes a little bit for us to make money back on a potato planting contract, because it also takes quite a long time to plant said potatoes. And we got rain coming in soon, which is another thing that I need to be aware of. So I'll fill up what I can from here. I was actually hoping that I would be able to take a full load. I'd be able to clear all of that one. Apparently, I'm not so lucky. Just wondering if the price of the silage has gone up very much. It's 154. We're at a point where we need to be asking serious questions. Do we now just kind of push to take several loads of silage backwards and forwards? It's going to be about 3,500 per trip over there. I think we're at about 1,800. So we're looking at 3,600. We need 118, 119,000 in order to be able to do this. In order to get that biogas plant. We're not yet sure if we can even sell the stuff down there once we've done it. We may not even be able to sell stuff down there once we've gotten all the way down there and got the thing. So let's just unhitch that and shut you off a minute. Like, do we want to do this? That's the big question here, is do we want to do it or not? 154 right there. Do I want to buy that biogas plant? I have got. It is 120,000. Almost exactly 120. That means another 18,000, which means 10 trailer loads or 5 trips with these 2 trailers. That's a lot of that's a lot of time, and that's a lot of expense. So if I go into here, we can go new contracts. There we go. So we got another weeding job. Again, that's going to be like 100 euros coming in. These 2 jobs, though, the fertilizer. Now that is a little bit more interesting. That's 9,000 euros right there. 16 and 17 are these 2 over here. I don't want to do that drive with the little tractor. But we could do that with the big tractor, and I'm pretty confident that we're not going to have to go and buy any more fertilizer to be able to complete that. So if I just bring you over here, shut you off again, and then I go to you, I'll bring that forward, and I am going to just lower that down there like that, and unhitch that bad boy. And we're going to take off that weight. We're going to just spin around a little bit. We're going to hook that one on, and then I'm going to get that fertilizer on, and we're going to do that. We're going to take those 2 jobs. So let's go into here. We're going to take 16 right there. I'm going to accept, I'm not going to borrow the items. I'm going to accept contract with any type of fertilizer, it says. And field 17 there, I'm going to accept contract. Now, field 22 with weeding, I'm not going to take that one yet. And then we've got baling here. Dry it, tether it, bale it, take it to the barn. Yeah, the problem with that is that we got so far to travel in order to go and do those. Silage bales to the barn. Field 24 is hay to the barn. I'm not going to do those. It's then these potato jobs. I'm not sure about potato jobs. I'll leave those for a minute. Let's get this one down, and we'll start doing these two fertilizer jobs on 16 and 17. They can just start being spread right the way across both of them. We'll kind of do both of them in together, and then once we've done that, then we can have a look at some other bits. We're only going to need 10,000 once we've got these two started. We need another 10 grand in order to buy the biogas plant. I'm just into a new lot of recording, and there's a load of weeding jobs that have come up again by the look of it. At least there were just a second ago. We'll have a look at those in a minute. We're just going to get down to field 16 and 17 with our fertilizer here and start spreading that. And then we can have a look at those. There's also a large quantity of planting jobs to do as well. And kind of wondering if... I mean, I said in the basic rules of the series are we're supposed to use our own planter to do any planting jobs that might come up. So I don't really want to be going against that already, considering that that is the rule that we're supposed to be abiding by. However, it sort of seems a bit ridiculous at the moment because we've only got this one tractor. Now, yes, I am trying to get a bit of money to go and buy the BGA because I'm pretty certain that we're going to be able to get more money selling our silage at the BGA than we can anywhere else. Unfortunately, though, I don't yet know if we can just go and tip silage at the BGA or if we would indeed need to have a machine to pick it up in a bucket or something, or even just a conveyor belt. I mean, maybe we could do it with the conveyor belt if we can tip it on the ground there somewhere, and we could, like, bring the trailers along, tip it out, and then use a conveyor belt to pick it up and actually place it into the things. That might be a better option if we're unable to actually tip into the biogas plant itself. Now, the reason that I want to do this is because most of the time the biogas plant gives better money for silage than the actual base rate of silage. It doesn't tell us at the moment what the silage price is. The biogas plant isn't actually listed. So I don't know what we're going to get yet. However, being said, hopefully maybe it will come up once we buy it. I don't really know. But I'm still hopeful. I'm going to remain ever hopeful on this one that we can end up getting a little bit more money for it. So with our other jobs in here, we go back over this way. We've got 3 new weeding jobs there. We've got 5, 20, and 22. So those are 5 all the way up there. And then we got 20 and 22, which are really close to the shop. So we could take all 3 of these and we could do them. Go back into here. And then we've got 8, 10, 11, 12, 14. 8, 10, 11, 12, 14. Field 25 is cultivating. And then we've got the standard baling jobs down the bottom. Cultivating we could definitely go and take. And also the weeding jobs we could go and take. Get those and just sort of take them out and get them going. So if I go borrow items for 5... then borrow items for 20, and then with the class Axion is the last one, borrow items for 22. So we will go and do those first. We got the fertilizer going, so that's the last... yeah, that's the last one. So this is the one for field 5, and then the other 2, they're the ones for close by. So this one we've got a little bit of a drive to go and get to, but it shouldn't take too long to get up there. And then that's more weeding done. Once the weeding is done, it's done. We don't have to worry about it after that. And then we've got fertilizer jobs to go and do, which are a little bit more expensive. Steady. This is quite heavy on the back of this tractor, actually, so we'll bring that on round there. Yeah, see, we got these two. It's these two right here. We've got 20 and 22. They're covered in weeds. It'll be nice and quick to get these done. Seeing as we are actually contracting in here, we could use a shortcut up through here, around the edge of the field, to go to the other one. Farmer's not going to mind. Absolutely sure of it. He's not going to mind this time. We don't like to go through here too much if we're doing other things and we're not actually working for the farmer in question, but apart from the harvest time. Harvest time's a little different. Everybody's a little bit more agreeable with, like, just being a bit more open to helping each other out, because everybody needs help at harvest. So if you're not prepared to help anybody else, you're not going to get the help you need as well. And that can make things difficult in the long run. So everybody is generally a little bit nicer and just more open to sort of making exceptions to various different rules that they may have for how they run their places during the harvest. Now, if I can get this one up there, obviously we're not going to make a vast amount of money with doing these three jobs, with the weeding jobs. These aren't ones that bring in much, but they should at least cover our expenses. And then thus, like, another one done, dusted, out of the way. We don't need to worry about it anymore. And the sowing jobs, they do make us money. They don't make us vast amounts of money, but they at least do make some. Although we do have to go and buy the seed, which is not great. I'd like to, ideally, be able to buy the biogas plant before I start taking on the seed drill jobs, which are going to just end up costing us more money. Now, I will just state that although I am saving hard in order to get the biogas plant, if it turns out that the biogas plant is not going to be beneficial at all, because, I mean, I suppose I could go off and just test this somewhere quietly without saying anything, but I've sort of thought about doing that, and I thought, no, we'll do this sort of now. What we can do is we can experience a bit of buyer's remorse. That's what I was thinking, is if we get the biogas plant and we find out that actually, no, we don't get any extra money and we can't tip in there and we can't tip anywhere and we can't use any of the different things that we want to use in order to be able to do it, and we've got to buy a vehicle with a front loader on it in order to tip the stuff in, then maybe we could experience buyer's remorse and we could just sell it back again. I mean, yes, we won't actually get the money back that we put in, but I'll deal with that in the background, and then nobody needs to know nobody needs to worry. We can basically just kind of pull out because, you know, things weren't completely, not everything was shared as it should have been shared. We weren't told all of the details of everything that we should have been told, and so, yeah, bad things happen. I really don't like the way this field is at this end. I would hope that if we ever bought this field, it would actually cure this bit, but I'll be honest, I can't see us buying this field, so I think that we are forever doomed to look at cotton plants that are grown on the top end of this field, like this. I think that is something that is going to be there with us until this series is finished. It's a little bit unfortunate. It's not something that I really like, but it's something that we're going to have to put up with. And it seems like a, I don't know, there's a bit of a clumsy oversight there. I mean, Giants, yes, there are definitely issues when it comes to some of the vehicles that they do. We know that there are issues that they have, and they do have this tendency to pretend that there aren't issues. You'll say there is an issue, and they'll say on the forum, there's no problem there, we don't know what you're talking about. When in actual fact, it's quite clear, and they do know what we're talking about, because then they'll go and patch it a couple months later anyway. So there's no good telling us that you don't know what we're talking about and that you can't replicate it when you're patching a thing anyway. So Giants historically have not always been open and honest about how they deal with some of the bugs and how they deal with different things. But generally, that is AI behavior and some issues with machinery. In particular, my personal bugbear one is the potato harvester, where you adjust the spout, you know, when it's sticking out, and you adjust it to a set height so that it can reach a trailer. As soon as you set the hired help going on it, it auto adjusts straight back down to a low point again, and then you can't get your trailer underneath it. That's something that has irritated me from the start, and also the behavior regarding sugarcane and the sugarcane harvesters. It's like they didn't bother. It's like they thought that sugarcane wasn't worth bothering with, and so they thought, you know, we'll just leave this, and nobody's going to really notice it anyway. So I was disappointed with the sugarcane harvesters bit. The potato harvester thing has just irritated me from the start, but that has never been fixed. And it is a bug. It's absolutely a bug. It shouldn't do that at all. It's just one of those things that they've said, no, we can't be bothered with this one. Right. I can kind of live with that. Yes, it irritates me. It really does irritate me. And, you know, any big games company is going to have things that are going to end up being issues. There's going to be problems. There's going to be bugs that irritate some people far more than they irritate other people. One of them, I think, was sound levels on tractors, where they refused to acknowledge that there was any issue with it whatsoever, and then eventually so many people complained about it that they patched it. So there was an issue. They knew there was an issue, and they decided to go and patch it because so many people complained about it on the forums that they had to stop ignoring because the voices were getting louder and louder. And that seemed to be the catalyst that triggered change on that particular front. And so things were fixed. I'm not sort of all about giants bashing all of a sudden. You know, I do call out the bits that I don't like that they've done, but I also do think that they do a pretty good job as far as game developers go. There are issues that every game developer has, and I think that they do generally a pretty good job. But one thing that I have found with Giants is that they seem to do a particularly good job with making the maps. Now, I know that there's a lot of, there are always going to be people who complain about the maps. It doesn't matter what map you have. I've seen so many different types of maps. I've seen so many different styles of maps and maps produced and so on. And every single map, it does not matter how much it is loved by the community at large, there are always people that have got things to complain about with the map. You will never be able to make a map that will satisfy everyone. So there's no point in even trying. You just make a map that fits your particular playstyle and people can take it or leave it. Now, Giants, they're in a position that I don't particularly envy because they've got to try to appeal to as many people as possible. And by doing that, they do have to kind of make the maps a little bit generic in order to get them to appeal to as many people as possible and to make them playable for as many different levels of experience and play that they can. You've got to have complete beginners able to use the map, and also advanced users as well need to be able to use the map and at least enjoy it a bit. So, you know, I feel that theirs is a position that is not particularly an enviable one, but I feel that they do a good job with their maps. I like their maps, some more than others. The Raven, I think, is it Ravenport, Ravencrest, whichever one it was, that is probably my least favourite of all the maps that I've seen. Something about it I didn't particularly like. I don't know what it was, it just had the wrong feel about it to me. Fellsprin, I quite like that map. There were bits of it that kind of like seemed a bit too generic for me, but generally speaking I thought it was a good map. This one, I love this map. I think this map is a really nice map. I think it is well made, it's really well done. But I do believe that Giants are very, very good at making maps. It's not very often you find a glaring error on their maps. There are some errors, like on the Estancia map, there are a few trees that are still misplaced on that map, despite a couple of patches correcting most of the trees. There are still some that are causing issues. I haven't actually found any in my time-lapse series yet, but I've been told there are some north of where I've got my main farm. So I know that there are some little issues on that map, but there's nothing particularly glaring. And then we get to this bit over here. And quite frankly, this is not what I expected of Giants. I know for a fact that Giants can do a lot better than that, and this is the kind of thing that I would expect from a mod map from a map maker who's not very experienced and overlooked it. But from Giants, I was very disappointed to see this. This is not what I expected from Giants, this massive grape, especially that bit up there. Occasionally you might get little strips down the side where it doesn't quite match up, but that up there, I mean, come on, Giants, you can do better. I know you can do better because I've seen all of your other maps, and they are usually to a very high standard. So I don't know what happened with this one up in this field, but I do feel that that bit there, that their quality control was obviously having a bad day on that day, because their maps, I really do think that they are very good at map making. I've never really had any serious problems with their map making. I think they know what they're doing with it, and I think they're very, very good at it. So seeing that has disappointed me. Yes, I know there will be plenty of people who say that Giants maps are the worst maps that have ever been made, and then no one could make a map as bad as a Giants map. They've just got no soul to them. Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Just keep it going, because, like, what? If you can make a better map, then do a better map. So many people will complain about how terrible they are, but then they produce their own map, and it's awful. Genuinely terrible, and you sort of think, yeah, it's not quite so simple, is it? And yeah, you as a consumer, you have every right to complain about what you're consuming. Right, there's no problem with that, but it does so often seem that the complaints leveled at the Giants maps are just done for the sake of being cool and the sake of complaining about something that everyone else is complaining about. Like, half of the complaints I see just seem to be repeating other people's complaints without any genuine understanding of what it is that's being complained about. Or what the issue is, and I don't know. I mean, yes, you don't get a large amount of complaints about stuff without some kind of basis to it. That there's always going to be something deep down there that is causing, like, the initial rush of complaining, but it does so often feel like everybody jumps onto the bandwagon. Take, for example, World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, I personally feel, is a wonderful game. Minecraft as well. Absolutely wonderful game. A brilliant game. So much fun to play. Both of them. I've had thousands of hours of entertainment playing both of those games. And everybody loves to hate them. They're the games that everybody loves to hate. So many times I've gone somewhere, you go into a game. Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.